Princess Catherine calmly counters Harry's false accusations with a brilliant act. The problem is breaking down. A new photo of the Princess of Wales revealed Harry's book revelations in the most interesting way. Hello and welcome to our Princess Diana News YouTube channel. If you're trying to find a bunch of really dizzy people, you don't usually go to the hospital. Now in the hospital you will find terrible coffee, very uncomfortable chairs and a lot of hand sanitizers, but many people are happy on their phones and trying to take selfies with some visitors. Absolutely not. But that exact scene happened when William and Catherine, the Prince and Princess of Wales, arrived on January 12 to open Royal Liverpool University Hospital. And that's exactly what the royal family does. They go out, they shake people's hands, they open things. But there is a reason why this event is so important. This was the very first time they stepped out in public since Prince Harry's book came out. By the time William and Catherine walked through the hospital doors, the entire world already knew that William had supposedly attacked his younger brother in a fight over Meghan's treatment of their shared staff, and also that Catherine had the nerve to not want to share her lip gloss with her sister-in-law. Furthermore, by the time William and Catherine arrived in the northern city, the royal family had been coming under sustained fire by the one-man PR team known as Prince Harry, with his relentless, seemingly never-ending series of interviews. The truth of the matter is, Sparrow doesn't really have any real gotcha moments and it doesn't really detail any truly shocking incidents, other than maybe that 2019 altercation when Harry's necklace was broken by his older brother. But even so, the contents of the book have not been very good for Buckingham Palace, and this is coming right at the time when they want everybody to really be getting excited about King Charles' coronation. All in all, Savings is a book that not only portrays HRH characters but also the culture within the palace gates. Harry portrays his father as an emotionally distant parent and William is full of jealousy and overly selfish. And then, according to Harry, Catherine is literally a prima donna, promoting wedding dresses just days before Harry and Meghan's wedding. Meanwhile, Harry portrays the real establishment as an evil organization, with rival offices pitting the media against each other, and so there is much intrigue going on behind palace doors. With the attacks and spare pages, Harry has done real damage to the Prince and Princess of Wales for the first time in years. Of course, Catherine has been criticized over the years for her alleged hard-working nature. Catherine and William only began full-time royal duties in 2017. But since then he is a sacred cow. He is such a noble creature that his ability to produce heirs and successors and his beautiful smile has truly captured the hearts of people in the UK and around the world. And what exactly is the duty of the future queen, if not to ensure the stability of the heir to the throne? Chapter: Are you still confusing the old people in your hometown? Of course, she has to do her part to support the popularity of British designers. But Harry's book paints a far less flattering portrait of the 41-year-old. According to Harry, Catherine and William rearranged the place cards at Meghan and Harry's wedding. Of course, this was much to the chagrin of the newlyweds, and she copped an attitude about those dresses at exactly the same time that Meghan really could have used some support because she was dealing with the fallout from her father, Thomas Markle, being caught staging some paparazzi photos. Oh, and also, supposedly, she is rather cold, getting upset when Meghan told her she had baby brain. Now, on its own, it's not very devastating stuff, but still, it is by far the most negative portrayal that we have seen of Catherine since she became a bona fide HRH. And that brings us right back to the hospital scene in Liverpool earlier this month. It would not be difficult to picture a much more muted reception, gawking, curious onlookers, and perhaps even an awkwardly yelled question about Harry coming from the crowd. But that won't happen. Instead, William and Catherine were greeted by hundreds of patients and staff who gathered to catch a glimpse of them, with nothing more unusual than a wave. So if anyone in William and Catherine's team was worried about the reception they might receive, the joyous scenes that greeted them should really lift their spirits. At one point, 81-year-old Sylvia Staniford grabbed William's hand and said, keep going, keep going. Liverpudlians love you." What did William say? He just smiled and said, "Yes, I will." Ms. Staniford later told the Daily Telegraph. Of course it was referring to Harry. He knew what I was talking about. And while it's not really on the same level, but also pretty fascinating, we've got to consider the fact that last Sunday, as Charles was walking to church at Sandringham, there were a surprising number of members of the public, based on photos, that traded their warm beds just to stand in the cold to get a glimpse of the king. So what the occasion in Liverpool really demonstrated was that despite Spare's best efforts to take the House of Windsor down a few pegs, the royal family has by and large come through this storm on a pretty even keel. And we're not trying to say that Harry's book has not taken the sheen off, but still. It's important to remember that the most recent polling done by people at YouGov found that after Spare's release, 78% of people had a positive view of Catherine. That's down from 83% this time last year. But the current lower figure is still in line with Catherine's previous approval ratings. Well, this is certainly not good news for William and Catherine, or anyone whose professional fortunes depend on their success. However, this is nothing compared to the devastation left by the terrible whale war of the 90s. Let me explain what I am talking about here. After the current king, Charles, admitted in 1994 that he had been unfaithful to his wife, Diana, a poll showed that 2/3 of the public believed he was unfit to rule. And as of this month, roughly the same number of British citizens say they have a favourable view of him. This is a slight increase from before Spare was published, with only 1 in 3 holding a negative opinion. The important thing to remember here is that the history of the monarchy is the story of an ancient family that has had to endure so many crises, controversies, and sometimes even the marriage of a family member to an ambiguous German. However, he survived and his support finally came back. It's been a rough ride for the royal family since early December when Netflix decided we really needed to watch Harry and Meghan's 6-hour sacrifice on camera. But ultimately, this was just a blip in the long history of the British monarchy. And if we look at the British monarchy in the light of world history, they look very strange indeed. They are really the cockroaches of the monarchy. They have survived many seemingly impossible events over the centuries. But their European cousins were not so lucky. Many were politely removed or very rudely removed. As the Sussex storm rages, it's important to remember that this storm too must pass. Ultimately, the monarchy will survive. What are your thoughts on the royal family? Let me know what you think in the comments section and we can discuss your thoughts and feelings too. Don't forget to subscribe to the Princess Diana News YouTube channel to support us even more. Thanks for tuning in, bye, and I'll be back to see you tonight.